The Toyota FT86 and Subaru BRZ launch was one of the most hyped and anticipated car releases in a long time. The buzz was that it would revitalise the car scene, offering cheap thrills in a great lightweight chassis that put driver involvement and fun factor first over outright performance. Thing is, we weren't convinced. The MX-5 has been using the same formula for over 20 years, and we've owned a lot of Silvias, and we love all things fast. How could this naturally aspirated so-called performance car possibly compare to the mighty Nissan S chassis? But over a year after they went on sale, the buzz is still strong. Maybe we were missing something, and maybe we should give the car a chance. And that we did, with Toyota Australia throwing us the keys to a GTS manual for a week. First stop, the Racetrack. We literally drove it straight there from Toyota HQ. We met up with our friends from Mighty Car Mods at Marulan, and they were kind enough to let us get in a few laps.
Andrew Hawkins in the house, yo!
We started with the traction control and stability control in sport to see what the car is like in grip mode. Two laps in though, and I couldn't help myself. It only took one lap before I was in trouble and told to stay under grip. Damn it. Well, just came in from driving the FT86 in anger for the very first time. Luckily it was at Marulan because 5 laps on the track taught me more about this car than probably 2 or 3 months on the road would have done. I was able to find the limits, push it and have a little bit of fun. I tried telling myself I was going to drive it with the traction control in sport and try and use the balance and the response and all that stuff, but to be honest with you, the car has so much confidence-inspiring abilities that literally within 2 laps I'm like, scrap this crap, let's turn off VSC Sport and turn everything off and have a little bit of fun. To be honest with you, when you first initiate the drift on the handbrake for a little bit of fun and first start the slide, it feels good, but due to the lack of power coming out of the corner, it doesn't really carry it that well. And also I noticed the short wheelbase and the good weight distribution makes it a little bit snappy as you sort of get into the drift, and it can catch you by surprise a little bit, but once you sort it out and you're used to it, it's a lot of fun. It's more fun than you'd think it would be for the power that it has. But tell you what though, honestly, it needs another 100 horsepower. I took the car out for another quick session and it became apparent that the FT86 has one of the most well-sorted chassis around. Too good almost, as on a racetrack, a good driver will find the limits very quickly and easily, meaning the lack of power can make the car become a bit dull for experienced drivers after one day at the track. But it's still perfect for first-timers and those still learning the craft of racing. Then again, it's what modifications are for, to keep things fresh and interesting. We couldn't modify the car, but one way to give it more power was to simply add water. We hit up a Drift Mob wet skid pan day to see how the FT86 slides. Clearly, the FT86 was made for some tail-out action, as I was able to link the entire track on my first lap. Having got comfortable in the car so quickly, I then decided to get a little aggressive, throwing it in big, but this is where things went bad. You see, drifting conservatively, the car was fine. Great in fact, but push it hard and the limitations of a standard car start to kick in, like little steering lock, little power, and factory suspension. We also found out later the stability control doesn't actually turn off all the way. It allows a fair degree of slip before it kicks in, but the safety net is still there, which would explain why the car drifted so well when taking it easy, but all went haywire when pushing it hard. After taking the car to 2 tracks in 2 days, I got to enjoy it as a daily driver during the week. There is no doubting the FT86 is a good looking thing. From factory, it's a little conservative, but with some mods, it can be made to look tough or stylish. And customising is the whole point of this car. Inside, the GTS interior wouldn't be out of place in a car 3 times the price. I really was that impressed with it. You sit right down in the car thanks to the high seals. The seating, steering, gear shift and handbrake position are perfect. The pedal position the same. The dash is very reminiscent of older Porsches and it screams sports car. Start button, the switches, the stitching, everything. The back seat is more decorative, but it can fit a baby seat. The boot is, well, a small storage space, but who cares? That's not what the car's about. Performance aside, the quality and features of the car betters most things the same price. The next stop on our test was the Dyno at Croydon Racing Developments to see what the car makes. We recently dynoed a Hyundai Veloster at 119 kilowatts and a Pulsar Turbo at 125. How would the FT86 stack up? A 115 kilowatts is pretty good for a naturally aspirated boxer 4-cylinder rated at 147 at the flywheel. But how well would it compare to the Veloster and Pulsar in the 0 to 100 times? Let's find out. Alright, the first attempt on 0 to 100 was 7.8. I had it in sport, stability control off, but traction control stayed on, and just tried to ride the clutch at higher RPM, so I didn't really have a wheel spin problem, and I got a 7.8 to 100. You could probably do that over and over again. Can I go quicker with the traction control turned off? That's better. That's a lot better. Rode the clutch a bit more, no wheel spin, changed gears slightly earlier, got into third a bit earlier, and we got 0 to 100 in 7.1. Now, even though this car made less power on the dyno than the Hyundai Veloster and the Pulsar SSS standard anyway, it was quicker to 100. Now, the FT86 at the track was good and showed even greater potential. Now, to truly enjoy the FT86, I think we need to drive it in a place like this. So you've seen the FT86 on the track, but what's it like on the street? Now, I wanted to wait until I'd had the car for a week before I spoke about what it's like as a daily driver. And I'll admit it, it's awesome. I haven't got sick of it once. I do wish it had more power, but surprisingly, it's actually been great to drive. Still very comfortable, even though everything about it is sports car orientated. Right, here we go. Another section of twisties, test out the 8.6. This is fun. Usually when I bring my GTR through here, I don't actually really accelerate all that much once I'm out of the corner because the speeds start to get ridiculous and you have to rely on the brakes. But with this car, the fun is in the corner, and then the not accelerating between the corners doesn't really matter because all you're going to do is get arrested for driving too fast. So you might as well not have to hammer the brakes so much, kind of coast between the corners, just short shift. And then when you get to the next corner, you don't need to brake anywhere near as much. That's awesome. I'm gonna say it, I'm a believer. I didn't think the 8.6 could actually be this much fun. The track didn't really convince me of everything, but now driving it through here, I get it. I think I actually get it.